Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. So, you've seen the title, which says Jack Catterall was not robbed. And I know people are going to come in the room and get very emotional, but he wasn't robbed. I'll explain why he wasn't robbed. But before I continue, please don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section, and do smash the like button. Yep, I know I'm gonna get it. Okay, I know. But just hear me out a second. Hear me out. So the first person says, respectfully disagreeing, Grim. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe. You know, with me, it's never a straight line. There's always something I'm gonna add. I hope you can hear me clearly at home. Blatant robbery. Only a Josh Taylor fanboy wouldn't agree. There we go. Let's get them going. Get furious comments in the room tonight. Yeah, that's what I want. You want to be furious. And I want you to bear with me for a second as I talk about this. We knew coming into this fight, we knew that Josh Taylor had big plans. He defends his title, and after he defends his title, I hope you can hear me clearly. After he defends his title, he's going to move up and possibly fight Terence Crawford in that super fight of undisputed and undisputed. Yeah? That's what we kind of know. We know how Sky move, yeah? We know the week before, Amir Khan was fighting Kell Brook. We know Terence Crawford was over. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. We knew Terence Crawford was over. So, you know, people kind of know how Sky work. They bring the guy over. He's already there with Khan and everybody, but everyone knows who Terence Crawford is, yeah? So Terence Crawford's there. We know what Terence Crawford's about. So Josh Taylor fights the week later. Okay, so we kind of know there's a super fight being mentioned. Crawford-Taylor. Okay, so we know that in the background. And we know historically, when there's a super fight, Allah, Oscar De La Hoya against Felix Sturm, and the fight after that is Oscar De La Hoya versus Bernard Hopkins for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. We knew that. But we know that sometimes fights before that, you know, that the banana skin, the guy that isn't favored to win, the guy that's not the ticket seller, the guy that's just a patsy, that guy is supposed to roll over, pick up his paycheck, go home, so we can set up the super fight. Where that person's a mandatory challenger, where that person is, they're next in line. However, okay, wait, hold your horse. Hold your horse a second. Hear me out. Okay, so we damn well know that Felix Sturm beat Oscar De La Hoya that night. Felix Sturm, I believe, was the WBO middleweight champion. De La Hoya just moved up to middleweight from the welterweight division. So we knew that Oscar De La Hoya did not win that fight against Felix Sturm. But there was so much money on the table that people kind of turned a blind eye because Oscar was going to fight Hopkins in a super fight. That was going to make a lot of money. It's not the first time. That we've had people getting done by the judges because there's a super fight round the corner. It's not the first time. Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. It's not the first time that we've seen fighters be unfortunate. We've not the first time. Michael Brody. It's not the first time. There are a number of fights where people have been on the wrong end of a decision. So many bloody fights. Boxing fans have become accustomed to, well, he's the A side and he's the B side. One. So, the A side should get paid more than the B side. So that's ingrained in people's heads. Oh, if he goes abroad, then he's going to have to get, he'll have to knock a guy out to win. Not be classy, and he can't outbox the guy. That's not possible. We already know in the Canelo stakes that if he goes to points, Canelo's going to win because Canelo is the golden boy. He is the ticket seller. He is pound for pound number one. So, God forbid, a guy manages to go 12 rounds to Canelo and he's outboxing him. Wow, that's not going to happen. Because we kind of know already that if he goes to points, Canelo's the favorite. Canelo's going to get it in the bag. We know this. We know this. We know this. We know that judges, referees, over and over and over again have failed us. Over and over and over again. Dodgy refereeing, dodgy judges. We've seen it over and over and over again. So my point is this. How can it be a robbery? How can it be a robbery? If this was a one-off situation and boxing's not corrupt, it was a one-off situation and Catterall's done what he's done, boxed his guy, dropped his guy, controlled the fight, won the fight well, and the decision goes against him, I get it. But it's not the first time this has happened. It's not the second time this happened. It's not the third time this happened. It's not even the 20th time this has happened. This happens all the time. It is part of boxing. It is part of the reality of boxing. If you're not a big ticket seller, if you're not a big talker, if you're not bringing the money in, you will get jobbed. We've seen it, not just inside the ring. We've seen it outside the ring. Canelo gets done for PEDs. Says it's to do with the beef and the cow. But another guy who's in a similar situation get like Liam Cameron, for example. He got caught with a bit of cocaine on him, and he's got a 3-year ban. 3-year ban. So we know if you're not a ticket seller, you don't sell, and we know that if it goes to a point decision against the person that is either a ticket seller or has got all the belts, you know what's going to happen. You will get jobbed. This is of no surprise. So I'm sort of shocked, not in shock, that people say, oh, well, he got robbed. He didn't get robbed. It was business as usual in boxing. Robbed? No. It's how the game works. It's not robbed. Let me give you another example. If I date a woman that has got a reputation for being a gold digger and a reputation for sleeping around, just give an example, all the other way around, should I be surprised if they do it to me? If they do that to me? A bank robber goes into bank, robs a bank. And then we say, ooh, that's not right. It's part of the business. It's how the business goes. So robbery? Really? We've accepted it for too long. I feel sorry for Catterall, but to be honest, boxing has ruined so many people's lives. Now, the British Boxing Board of Control say that they're going to investigate this. Now, if they're going to prove to me, show me, right, that it was a robbery, what they have to do, what the British Boxing Board have to do is to either strip Taylor of his titles and give the titles over to Catterall. That would be a first. That would be a first. That would be a first. strip a man of his title and give the titles to Catterall? Has it ever happened in British boxing? Has it ever happened? So what can they do? The best they probably will do is say, yeah, immediate rematch. Immediate rematch. That's it. If they want to show the sport is, if they go ahead and they give the belts to Catterall, then is that not admittance that the sport is corrupt? Or is that saying that the sport isn't corrupt and they will make the hard decisions? This is a big time for the British Boxing Board of Control and for world boxing. Because everyone's watching. Everyone is watching. So, here we go. You should be surprised. It's still a robbery, LOL. You can't say I didn't rob the bank. You knew I would. There you go. But that's what it is. It's no surprise whatsoever. Either Catterall can get paid off behind the scenes for it and like get a large sum of money. Shut up. Here's your money. Just go away. You know, that's one way of dealing with it. But my point is this. Why are we surprised with the robbery? This is part of boxing. Unless these judges who make these dodgy decisions get thrown out of boxing, unless these referees who can't referee a fight be told, listen, you have refereed, unless there's consequences behind the refereeing and the judging, unless there are consequences, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we will expect in boxing. And don't be surprised. Don't call robbery. Boxing fans need to vote with their feet and with their pockets. And there needs to be a revolt and say, listen, I am not watching boxing if this guy's going to referee. I'm not this guy's judge. That's what needs to happen. So it's all right. Say, no, it's a robbery. What are you going to do about it? Accept it. It's not the first time. So what are you going to do about it? What are boxing fans going to do about it? Huh? That's what I want to know. I like Ben Shalom saying he'll investigate further. Whether he actually will or not is another question. It should go to independent tribunal. If they did that, that'd be interesting. There's no reason these old men have been judging referees over here. Same old names. That's what I'm saying. It's the same group of people. Smith Ryder, another example. So there's not much difference. Smith was the big name. He was the big name. Yeah. Ryder was the guy who couldn't sell a ticket. Smith was in Liverpool. So the fix is in there. So Catterall, again, not big ticket seller. Taylor, the superstar fighter. Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? And until there is a change in the way we view the sport and the way that the sport is being allowed to be run by the same old people, the same old referees and the same old judges, it will continue to happen. This is a big moment in the sport of boxing and something significant, and it has to happen to those judges and has to happen to that referee. If not, then they're not serious. Then it will continue. Crawler's retirement fight. There you go. Both with MTK. Maybe they can get a rematch on. Maybe. Just trying to say he wants to move up to welterweight now. So it'll be interesting. I'd like to know what the next fight was planned for Josh Taylor. And if it was Terence Crawford, then could this be the reason why Taylor was able to get away with a decision as disgusting as it was? I wonder. I remember people on here were saying that this was going to happen to Catterall and that was going to happen to Catterall. I remember saying to you guys that never underestimate an unbeaten fighter. You never know how good they are until they're up against it and they get beat. He may drag Catterall up to 147, but he's got nothing to offer at 147. He's not a champion at 147. I'm not usually surprised, Ingram. I just had Catterall so far ahead, I couldn't see it happening. Yep. Again, not a big ticket seller. And this is the thing. I'd be asking the British Boxing Board of Control, if you're not a big ticket seller and you're in the ring against somebody who's a big ticket seller, are you punished because you can't sell tickets? I thought boxing was about two guys being in the ring and the guy with the best ability, best boxing skills wins the match. Or the guy who hits the hardest, or the guy who's got the faster hands, or the guy who's a better counter puncher, or the guy who's got a better jab, or the guy who can control space, distance, and timing. I thought that was what boxing is about. But it seems to me that it's more than that. And boxing is not just about hitting, not getting hit. It's about having the right promoter on your side, having the judges on your side, having the referee on your side, being an A-side fighter. All these things. Huh? That's what boxing is now. Is that what boxing is? That what it's really all been about? So you might not be the best fighter in the world. As long as you can go 12 rounds and you have a good promoter on your side, the judges will sway in your favor. I think we can all agree Taylor will get found at a 147. The truth is, boxing is not a fair sport. It's a business. It's not even really about ability anymore. It's just about whoever the machine has behind them. Now we are talking. Now we are talking. Now, when they do this investigation, I would like to see other case studies of other fights brought up, like the Ryder and Smith fight. Robert Conceição versus Oscar Valdez was absolutely disgusting. Valdez on Pets, and they still robbed the kid. That's what I'm saying. It's there. It's about having the last name Taylor and getting dodgy decisions. Both Josh and Katie. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. So we see here, when we put these things together, as we've discussed here, it's not robbery. As Nathan rightly said, the truth is boxing is not a fair sport. It's a business, and it's not even about ability anymore. It's just about whoever the machine, who has the machine behind them. And if that's the case right there, it backs up Catterall was not robbed. It's a business. It wasn't robbed. If the sport is fair, if the sport is fair, then he was robbed. If there's justice in boxing, then he was robbed. But if there's no justice, if it's a business, if it's corrupt, then he wasn't robbed. It was just business as usual because the sport is corrupt. I don't understand why people are in such a huff about the situation. You know the sport is corrupt. I don't have to tell you that. Unfortunately, Catterall doesn't fit. Quiet guy, not charismatic, not a big ticket seller, etc. Even though he's an Italian boxer, it sucks for him, but no one should be surprised. There we go, Nathan. See right there? There's a man that understands and gets what I'm saying. Some online bookies refunded all bets on Catterall points win. Wow. Wow. The next week of British boxing, or 2 weeks of British boxing, unless judges are held to account and referees dealt with, unless those things happen, I'm afraid to say that we are still going to be the same old guard of corruption. Sport is corrupt. Prove me wrong. Mr. Robert Smith of the British Boxing Board of Control, prove me wrong that your sport, the sport of boxing in the UK, is not corrupt. Huh? Explain to me Smith and Ryder. There's a few other fights as well I could probably bring up as well if I ask boxing fans. Prove to me and to boxing fans the sport's not corrupt. You said it's ludicrous. You said it was, it's not true that boxing is not corrupt. You said it on Talk Sport. So now, Mr. Robert Smith, prove to us it's not corrupt by doing the right thing, giving Mr. Catterall a belt, and and giving Taylor defeat next to his name. Bookies did the same for that Campbell Hatton fight recently versus the Spanish kid. And I thought on Eddie Hearn's show, there was a guy that got beat the crap out of and still won the fight. I had £5 on Catterall, 7-1. Would have been £40 richer. Yeah. It's a good fighter, Catterall. Good fighter. And I mentioned talking about Catterall before. I couldn't remember what his name was. That I rated him, thought he was a good fighter. But I thought he went off the boil. So, if boxing fans are sitting here telling me that they did know at the back of their mind, if they went to points, that Taylor would still get the decision. Come on. So, boxing fans, that's it from me. I mean, unless somebody can argue the point and tell me that the only argument you can have here with me on this situation is if you can turn back to me and tell me, you know what? Boxing is not a corrupt sport. It's not corrupt. If you can tell me and you can defend that boxing is not corrupt, then there we go. Darrell Williams versus Zach Parker, another huge robbery. Miguel Vasquez versus Luz Ritson as another bad one. Yep. Has Jack stuck Ritson after this controversy, Ingram? It'll blow over. Or they'll hope it'll blow over. You'd think so. But the only way his stock will rise is if he gets back in the ring again soon and puts another performance. Question I would ask is, Dane Davidson, what's his stock like now? And an even bigger thing is, we're not talking about JB Moore. JB Moore gave Catterall a brilliant game plan. Jamie Moore needs to be rated. Remember, wasn't it Ben Davidson was saying about British trainers? Jamie Moore was spot on. Shout out to Jamie Moore. I've always thought Jamie Moore was a good trainer. This fight justified that. What do you mean Catterall was not robbed? Oh, dear. Rewind the tape and play it from the start. I'm telling you this much. If Mr. Daniel Wade, if you can come on here and tell me that boxing is not corrupt, then he was robbed. A guy, you cannot say a person being robbed in a sport that is not biased. This sport is biased. It's biased against fighters who are A side, B side. It is biased against fighters that are ticket sellers. If you're a ticket seller, if you've got the belts, it's going to go on your side. If the promoter's on your side, it's going to go on your side. It's not the first time it's happened. It's happened many a times, as I've explained already. And I think we go back up to, let me bring this guy up again. This is it. This is my argument, which Nathan earlier brings up quite nicely. The truth is, boxing is not a fair sport. So we've got that is our bottom line. The sport is not fair. It's a business, and it's not even about ability anymore. It's about whoever has the machine behind them. So based on what we know, this is fact. This ain't fiction. This is fact. Catterall wasn't robbed. It was business as usual from a corrupt sport. But if the sport is fair and just, yes, he was robbed. But if sport's not fair, so how can he have been robbed? This is my point. Jamie Moore deserves 100% credit. Absolutely. Yeah, you had him landing the 1-2 at will. Jamie Moore will be one of our best in a few years. Yeah, he will be. I think he's a very good trainer. Very knowledgeable. Hasn't got a big mouth. Jamie Moore's one of them. But I don't know if Jamie Moore's face fits. Do you understand? I don't know if his face fits. Because Macklin is on there all the damn time. What's Macklin done? I'd much rather listen to Jamie Moore than bloody Matthew Macklin. What has Macklin done that Jamie Moore hasn't? Huh? But didn't Jamie Moore beat Matthew Macklin? I'd like to hear more from Jamie Moore. I think he's a top trainer, and we need to see more of him. I don't want to see no Dave Caldwell. I want to hear from Jamie Moore. I want to hear from Jamie Moore. I don't want to hear about Dave Caldwell or Ben Davidson. I want to hear from Jamie Moore. Josh Taylor could not get out of a straight left hand all night long and made no adjustments. With Mr. Ben Davidson, Mr. Adjustments in the corner for 12 rounds. But I guarantee you, if Ben Davidson was watching this fight from at Sky, and he was looking back at the fight and say, well, Josh Taylor, Josh Taylor could just, he could have made some changes there, switch it up a bit. He could have done this and that. Well, it's all right saying it from the outside, you sound great from the outside, but on the inside, your boy was getting it with the same left hand all night long. You made no adjustments to it. That's what it is. Bruh. Mr. Wade, if you can tell us how the sport of boxing is not corrupt, I'd love to hear what you have to say on this. Don't just come in and go, bruh. Explain yourself. Yo, man, AAA, hope you're well. Volts UK, Canelo Lara is on the highest level, all the way down to ABS. It's part of boxing. Of course, let's talk about Michael Conlan. Let's talk about Michael Conlan in the Olympics. Let's talk about that. Corruption. I still remember when Moore fought Macklin, beat him in a war. Let's talk about Roy Jones. Roy Jones Jr. in the Olympics. Let's talk about that. Why that man has still not got a goal for that. Got KO by GGG. Oh, there you go. If MTK was made Ben Davies, surely they can elevate Jamie Moore. They need to, and quickly. Do you think the right hand was right? The right hand was raised. I think I've explained myself already. No, I'm telling you, the right hand was not raised. It should have been Catterall won the fight. In my preview to this fight, I spoke about Jack Catterall and spoke about the fact that we should not underestimate him because he's an unbeaten fighter until he's beaten. We don't know how good he is. And what I'm basically saying is the sport is corrupt. So no, the person who should have won the fight is Jack Catterall, based on the fact it's a fair and non-corrupt sport. But the fact that the sport is downright corrupt, because the sport is corrupt, the right man's hand was raised, which is Josh Taylor, because it's a corrupt sport, right? So Catterall did not get robbed. He didn't get robbed. He didn't get robbed because it's a corrupt sport. That's why Josh Taylor won the fight. Jamie Moore was a decent pro in his own right, and I think he seemed level-headed. I like Jamie Moore. I've said it before. I've always liked him. Ben's lost without his pads. LOL. He was robbed all day long. Again, not listen to what I'm saying. Mayweather at the Olympics too. There we go. Josh will probably vacate, and they will give Jack immediate rematch a vacant belt as a deal to stay silent. Yeah, that would work. Taylor vacates, moves up in weight, and that sounds like an excellent way of getting Josh Taylor out of that mess, moving up to a welterweight. But listen, if you could get out the way of when Catterall was hitting, can you imagine if that was Crawford in the ring? England speaking nothing but facts. Joey, my brother, where have you been, our brother? Where have you been? I've not seen you. I've not heard from you. You don't even come online. Where have you been, our brother? It's good to see you. So I don't want to hear anything no more about robbery. Not on BWTM Sports. When it comes to boxing, because the sport is downright corrupt. That's it. It's corrupt. So nobody gets robbed. They just get handed business. right? Catterall was not business. It didn't make any business sense. Did not make any business sense. Yeah? Didn't make business sense. That's why. Would Kell Brook beat Josh Ingram? If Josh is as open as that to the right hand, I don't know. Probably. I don't understand what you mean by the sport being corrupt. If the person that should have won didn't, in my eyes, his victory got robbed. Ignore the corruption. Bro, you can't ignore the corruption. That's why the man is... I understand what you mean by the sport being corrupt. But if the person that should have won didn't, in my eyes, his victory got robbed. Ignore the corruption. In your eyes. Your eyes doesn't matter. Your eyes as a fan doesn't matter. Listen, I'm not personal with you, but if you don't get it already, if you haven't got the memo, if you don't understand, boxing promoters, judges and referees don't give a damn about you or me as a boxing fan. If they did, they'd clean the sport up. They don't give a damn. If they gave a damn, there'd be an improvement from the Smith-Ryder fight. Huh? There'd be an improvement from that. The Lewis-Rickson fight. And so many other fights where there's been blatant daylight robbery. Or as Frank Morley once used to say, at least Dick Turbin, he wore a mask. Sorry, bro. It's been a long time. Bit offline stuff, but I'm back now. Okay, good to see you. Been doing a lot. You should check out my FIFA series. Okay, I agree with what you're saying. My definition of robbery is different to yours. Yeah, I get it. In a fair game, in a fair sport, where right is right, wrong is wrong, you're the better boxer, you box the guy, yes. Catterall wins, hands down, knocked Taylor down, outboxed him, landed the cleaner shots, yes. Catterall wins. But it's not a fair sport, and the judges are not fair. So, we'll talk about robbery. Boxing is the wild, wild west, always has been, full of unsavory characters like WWE. What do you put Josh Taylor's poor shoddy performance down to? He looked a different person in there. I'm not impressed with Ben Davison's corner work. Might be weight drained. Might have See, the thing about, I said that the gloves are off. Josh Taylor didn't believe, and he kept telling him, say, how are you going to beat me? How are you going to beat me? You can't beat me. If you come out in the center ring and do this will happen. If you do it, you can't beat me. You can't beat me. So I think psychologically, Taylor couldn't see any way that Catterall will beat you. You haven't had work, and I know you ain't had world-class sparring. So he was so into his own beliefs. He was so sucked up into believing that he is the man and that he couldn't be beat. When he was getting his ass, when he got hit with a straight left hand in the first round, if you look at the first round and catch the right thing, he hit him with a straight left hand. And it shook Taylor like, damn, okay. And he kept hitting Taylor at left hand. He messed up his eye. Taylor's like, this should be happening to me. I'm Josh Taylor. I'm the undisputed champion. This is Jack Catterall. I'm levels above this guy. If you, Jim Watt used to say, you can't prepare for a war if you're not expecting it. And Josh Taylor, from the gloves are off, I said it in the preview to the gloves are off, right? Josh Taylor didn't believe that Catterall could beat him. Didn't believe Catterall was skilled enough. Didn't believe, and nor did his trainer, Ben Davidson. And guess what? Otto Wallin, Tyson Fury. Otto Wallin, unbeaten. Southpaw. Wasn't expected to do well against Tyson Fury. Walkover job. Tyson Fury's got all the skill set. Wallin took Tyson Fury at one point to almost life and death. Cut poor Tyson Fury up and gave him a tough fight. Here we go again. Josh Taylor, southpaw, undefeated, top of the tree, and struggles and gets beat by the underdog, by the unbeaten fighter. Is there a thread there? Is there something there in the way Ben Davison is mentally preparing his fighters? I just wonder. Bob already lost one undisputed champion in T3, but wasn't losing another in Josh. Yep, I can hear that. Okay, explain this. Why didn't AJ get decision? Because he's a much bigger draw than Usyk. It's a good question. That's a good question. Although Usyk outboxed AJ, I mean, he really, and he almost stopped him in the 12th round. Facts, Ingram. These bad decisions happen on cards every week now. There you go. John Hugh. Josh Taylor does not look like he will be a champion for long. He looks very beatable. AJ didn't win a round. Most fanboys nowadays just seem to read off box rec and go off skills resumes before fights. It's like they don't watch his box and actually look at their skill sets. Yes, and there's a lot of this. I'm not mentioning channels. I'm not mentioning channels, but I can tell you this much. I'll tell you this much. There are channels that back a fighter who doesn't have a great skill set, but back them because they are from a particular network. And they overlook the guys, like they overlook a guy's ability. They think, oh, he's a great fighter. Again, I'm telling you right here now, I don't think Boots Ennis is that great a fighter. I just don't. I think he's a good fighter. But I think he's overrated when people say he's a great fighter. He's going to take over the welterweight division. Who's he beat to make them statements? Who have you beat? Who did you beat for you to suddenly be the man that is going to take over the welterweight division? I'm still asking the question today. Errol Spencer's the bogeyman in the division. Okay, but who did he beat to be a bogeyman? Who was the bogeyman he beat? Luis Ortiz, the bogeyman of the heavyweight division. But who did Luis Ortiz beat to be the bogeyman? Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Who did Mike Tyson knock out to be the baddest man on the planet? He didn't fight another bad man. So how did he become the baddest man on the planet? I don't understand. I don't get it. These are just slogans and titles that people just kind of, I don't know, embrace without really thinking it through. Yeah, I mean, no corruption was going to cover up that AJ box up. Good question. It is a good question. Thank you. Yeah, it was a good question, Daniel. Fair question. Just thought it was a good comparison to fight we had at the weekend. Yep, good, decent, good. Yeah, but Usyk was undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Let's not forget that. That has a lot to. Former undisputed cruiserweight champion, or going on to become heavyweight champion of the world. Jack beat Taylor soundly, but Usyk absolutely schooled AJ in every department, made him look like a novice. Absolutely. What does Uncle Bashir make of Ben Davison as a trainer? I think that question's been answered a few times when Uncle Bashir has been asked about Ben Davison quite recently. I think he responded by not responding. Usyk didn't have to go up against 3 UK judges. Good comeback there, Joe. Very good comeback there. To be fair, Howard Foster had it 7-5 Usyk, way closer than it should have been. Yeah, well, Howard Foster has a lot to answer for. Howard Foster has a lot to answer for. It is what it is, you know. But I've been saying this. You see, a lot of the work, all the things I'm saying are coming back. Remember, I said years ago, It must have been about 2 years ago. I said that promoters, and judges and referees are in the same hotel. Come on, that to me is messed up. That's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. It's a conflict of interest. And promoters paying for referees and judges hotel rooms and giving them what they want and what they require, yeah? So that when it comes to judging now, their eyes can be quite, let's say, compromised. Mm-hmm. It's hard to give Taylor a good, solid round. Ben's on Skid Row. Yeah, there might have been a reason why Tyson Fury got rid of him. Howard Foster, Ian Jordan Lewis, and Victor Lachlan are legit the worst 3 GB judges. Yep. But we still allow them week in, week out, month in, month out, pay-per-view, non-pay-per-view, these guys to be allowed to stroll in. And we actually pay for these guys to referee and judge. That's the worst thing. That's the robbery right in front of your face, and you accept it. Crawford will rip Taylor's head off if they fight. That crap performance makes that fight a joke. Oh yeah. Thing is, everybody kicks a fuss now, but honestly, give it a week and 2, it'll be history. So there you have it. You yourself have admitted right there, it's corrupt, and within a week or 2 it'll blow down. The thing is, I don't understand why there's all this fuss about Jack Catterall, to be honest. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, it's not like he was a superstar fighter beforehand. It's not like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Better known fighters have been robbed and nothing's been made of it. And there's been no investigation either. Hearn once tweeted a picture of him with the officials night before the night fight in a restaurant. Yeah, I said this before. And when I said it on the channel, I'm talking rubbish. All the chickens are coming home to roost, what I've been talking about. Should just toss it for F's sake. At least you've at 50-50. When you hear them 3 names, you must think, here we go. Yeah, that's it. Chris Colbert last week, too. He was dominating the fight against Hector Luis Garcia. Chris Colbert. Now, I know a guy that's been on his channel that sparred with Chris Colbert, and he was the next best thing. He was this, he was that. I've heard people raving about him, and I have never, ever paid any attention to Chris Colbert. So I just thought he was a decent fighter, nothing else. A decent fighter. Gets knocked in his ass and doesn't even try and win a fight. That's my opinion. After that performance, Conor Benn would have had a good chance against Josh Taylor. Nah. Taylor will handle Ben. Taylor will handle Ben. It's different. What do you think of the McFarlane fight? Yeah, I've got a problem with Sky and Boxer and Ben Shalom. Now, this is what I want to ask the question. Really great point here, Daniel. Why Adam Smith, Matthew Macklin, why Johnny Nelson? If the fighters are garbage, if the fighters are novice, why have you got them on a big fight card? If they're novices, if they're garbage, why are they on primetime TV? Why are we watching this garbage? Are you saying to yourself, they're not very good, they're novice, why are they on the card? Adam Smith, Matthew Macklin, Johnny Nelson, why are they on the card? And why are we having to suffer to watch this garbage? It's embarrassing. These novice. It's not the best out there. It's not, they're novice. They're not very good, are they? Why are you on the show commentating on them? Absolute rubbish. Conor take off one off his record. At least your English-Scottish rivalry is still alive and well. I find it funny that Howard Fox was a judge, but he couldn't decide every fight, so he was upgraded to judge. Oh dear. Ben Shalom was only disgraced because he didn't promote neither. McFarlane, number 4 heavyweight. Oh dear me. Jay McFarlane is a character apparently, so it's good enough for prime time slot now. LOL. McFarlane doesn't even train now. Isn't he managed by Dave? Isn't he managed by Dave Allen? Anyway, you know this. So you know the guy don't train. You know the guy's not very good. Why is he on TV? Huh? I don't get it. And then you complain about it. They was on that show because they're Scottish worst undercard I've ever seen in a long time. What about Super Marius Breedis? That's my boy. That Breedis is my boy. I would like to see him in the heavyweight division. If I was a manager, he'd be the first guy I'd be managing. First guy I would manage is Marius Breedis. And he will beat a Coley. Based on what I see of a Coley now, Breedis is beating a Coley. A Coley can't beat Breedis. A Coley cannot beat Breedis. No, he cannot beat Breedis. I hope they make that fight tomorrow. He cannot beat Breedis. He cannot. I'm telling you, Coley is so scared of his own shadow. And the other thing, I don't know if Coley's good around the whiskers. I don't know. I'd say it because he's a Hackney man and stuff. He's the same part of the world as me. But at the end of the day, I just don't like how Coley's fighting. So I think Breedis beats him. Quick look at him, sort of gives it away. It's an undisputed undercard. Wild. Did you see Breeze and DAZN dressed as Super Mario? He gave a Coley McDonald as a gift, LMO. Yeah, I like Breeze. Like, Breedis beats a Coley. Ben Davison was smirking after the fight in a greasy way. He comes over as a rusty bullet. What? Whatever a rusty bullet hole is. Listen, please. I appreciate you when you smash the like button. Smash the like button, please. I really appreciate it. Georgia Gill was a very good watch. Crazy finish at one point. He received a DDT from his opponent, LOL. Yep, I didn't see the fight, but I heard it was a punch from the gods. That's what I heard. I haven't seen the fight yet, but I will go back and watch it. I instead watched Lawrence Okoli. Somebody joked at that's the closest that Anthony Joshua will get when he was holding up that WBO belt. I said, that's the closest he's going to get to a world title again. There's some very what's the word? Some very funny people out there. Very, very funny. Breedis beat Usyk. I'm a watch at 1. It's been Usyk's hardest fight. Yeah, I rate Breedis very highly. But then I rate Bivol very highly as well. Well, people don't. I rate him very highly. But I need to do a breakdown for that fight coming up soon. Right. I think that's it for me. I don't think I've got anything else really to talk about. Breedis beat, got that. See here? Big up Usyk and the Klitschko brothers. Yeah, shout out to Usyk, the Klitschkos, and Lomachenko, who found his ass back in Ukraine. Gallagher Ify is ready to take over and be undisputed unified champion called Tony Bellew, and that's after debut with, oh my God. Remember when Tony Bellew told you that he was ready, that David Price was ready for the Klitschkos now? Remember that? After that, that was it. That was it for me. Tony Bellew commenting on fighters. No, thank you. Thank you very much. Right, I think that's it for me, unless there's something else. Please do smash the like button. Please do subscribe. Please do download the app. And that is advertised at the beginning of the show. Thank you so much. Rate, subscribe, leave your comments as always. I'm going to get out of here. I think that Bivol Canelo is 50-50. I like Bivol Canelo for real. I love that fight too. Right. Hold on. People are saving before I get out of the room. Ingram, yes. The Ukraine war will provide AG with a get out of that rematch. Yep. That's what a lot of people are. That's what I think even Hearn's praying for as well. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Last comment coming through. Campbell Hatton. Okay, I will say this much before I close. Campbell Hatton looks like he's made massive improvements. But I don't want to watch him box. He's made massive improvements. I don't want to watch him box. I don't want to watch him box. It's not for me. Good night. Take care.